You don't even see me, do you? Didn't think so, huh? They never see me. They won't even remember my name. I walked right through your war zone, stole breath from your centuries. Eyes all locked on the thunder, but not the shadow beneath it. I'm the last one to speak, 'cause I know the first words cut deepest and the sharpest like my blade. She ran, I stayed, that's the play. Family don't need your reason. You think this is a cage? I've lived in silence far tighter than this. Your guard's got shaky fingers. He won't last the night. My voice, and that's the point. Even when they know I'm coming, they forget to lock the door. I am the shadow and the wind. You'll forget I'm even here like they all do. I always have a clean slate until it's too damn late. I'll button this lip till the hinge breaks, and when it does, one way or the other, like smoke, I'll just fade away.
Yo, Joe, listen up, I got a story to tell about a guy named Logan. Oh, he's so swell, he's the G.I. Joe gamer. Cool and witty, talking about those characters, heroes and villains. At midnight we shout, Yo, Joe, or Cobra, talking about the Joe team and a Cobra tide. Joe's got snake eyes, the silent ninja in black. Quick with his swords, he'll give you a heart attack. Then there's Duke, the leader, so bold, gung-ho, always ready to fight and make those cameos. And we can't forget about Scarlet, the ultimate girl power. A fierce warrior, she'll make her enemies cower. Cobra's got Destro to supply the weapons. Cobra commander plots and schemes, see ruling the world in his dreams. Zartan is never what he seems, and Baron is rocks that black leather outfit. Shoot you quick and slip out the back of the pit. Yo, Joe, Cobra. Logan's here to give his G.I. Joe takes. Oh yeah, Yo, Joe, Cobra. Talking about the characters, it's a G.I. Joe thing.
Mature content warning. On Logan's Joe Takes, strategic commentary may include strong language, heated opinions, classified references, time to call in the Joes. Opposing forces may attempt audio interference. Logan's Joe Takes. Mission begins now.
Good evening, I'm Logan the G.I. Joe Gamer. We got Cool Gamer in the house. Jess Laws, how you doing, my friends? It's good to see you tonight. Tonight I'm going to be talking about Zandar, one of the Dreadnoks from Cobra. Dreadnoks is sub-faction of Cobra, and in particular, a member of the Zartan family, or just the Z family for short. Before I do that, though, I want to make a couple announcements. Logan's Overwatch, that was supposed to be at 8 o'clock tonight, right after this show, Mountain Time, will be in 2 weeks on the 27th instead, because circumstances. It just didn't work out tonight. Some of us weren't feeling good. Some of us had to be out of town. And so I just decided to coincide it with the final episode of Joe Takes. That's going to have a scene from G.I. Joe with the Bloodright, which I will be playing one of those today. I do have a new scene to share with you. So that should be fun. But that all being said, let's jump right into this. Joe Takes 68. And tonight we're talking Zandar from the Hills. Okay, now I do have all three examples of all three figures that came out from Hasbro of the Zandar figure. Now, the Zandar is probably one of the most obscure and least produced Dreadnoks that there is, other than some of the ones they did for convention exclusives and things of that nature. You're stupid people and their fucking fireworks. All right, Jess, thank you for that. Okay, we had to get that out of the way. So there we go. All right, so yes, they came out with in 1986. The first Zandar came out the same year Zarana came out. His twin sister. Now he's the youngest of the three, like maybe in 5 minutes to an hour. Who knows? With twins. But yeah, Zarana kind of steps up and takes that leadership role, where Zandar kind of steps into the back and is obscure, and purposely so. He likes it when people forget him. But we'll get into his character here in a little bit. But let's start by looking at the vintage figure. Now, he only came with 2 accessories. He came with this arrow shooting gun and a backpack that has little fletchels or arrow shafts on it. With feathers, that part. I have to give you a reason to play it. No, but it's okay. I enjoy playing it. This particular figure had the color changing ability. It's long since worn off in the plastic, and so whenever the O-ring breaks, it was not fun originally to fix this figure. Now, the reason I have an extra backpack, and I probably have an extra one of these guns somewhere, is that at one point, my brother gave me his, and the O-ring in both wore out eventually on both of them. I just had to replace Zarana's O-ring. She's up there on my mantle there on her motorcycle. And what they did was they glued these figures together in such a way that, you practically have to break the figure just to get it open, even after you take the screw out of this. In the back of these O-ring figures, there is a screw at the bottom of that hole there, and you just unscrew it, and the whole figure comes apart. Except for the legs have their own. The arms have their little hinges, pins, and the legs have a screw that holds them together right there and keeps them in place. The knees move. This is an older figure, but it's still in pretty decent shape. What happened was, when I tried to repair my original Zandar, I'm not sure which part broke, but like I said, I had 2, and I had one with the chest just destroyed because I tried to get it apart. Because what you got to do is you have to loosen the glue along the entire seam or heat it and pop it open, and hopefully just the glue breaks. But what happened on my first attempt was this chest piece just broke all apart. And this plastic, because of the color change, plastic, the color changing element to it is a lot more fragile and a little softer in some ways, but not in the newer, like with the newer ones I'll show you on the newer figure. There's a soft plastic that they use that works. But this would get soft and just break apart. And so this figure is notoriously hard to repair the O-ring and get this figure back together. Now, like I said, I have two, and when I took the other one apart, it broke. And so when this one, the O-ring, finally gave, I took great pains to not break the front part, because the other one did. It just broke all apart. And what happened was the back part broke. So I had two good pieces and two bad pieces. So I just threw the bad pieces away. I probably shouldn't have done that, but that's just life. And then I put the two good pieces together, and I have one solid Zandar now with even both thumbs intact on this figure too. So I do the best I can. And some people have better tricks than I do on how to repair things. I'm not really mechanically inclined. I'm what I like to call mechanically declined, but I more break things than fix things when I try to repair them. But with G.I. Joes and O-rings, I'm pretty good at repairing them, and I can repair any G.I. Joe figure in about five minutes, unless it has something like this where it's glued together, or some of them just could not come apart, like some of the Ninja Force figures that came out later. Anyway, that was the first figure they came out, and in 2011 or 12, they brought out, in the modern line, the 25th anniversary line, the 4-inch. So we have a 3 3/4-inch example, and then we have a 4-inch example in that line. It came in a 7-pack at a Big Bad Toy Store exclusive 7-pack of Dreadnoughts. This Zandar came with that pack. Now, he came with an eel gun in gold for some reason, but I like the paint maps on it. It's really cool. Instead of just remolding his original gun, I don't know why they didn't do that. But then he came with a crossbow, but no backpack with arrows. So it's like, oh, okay, he did one but not the other. And it came with an extra knife, and then he's got a knife in a sheath here that comes out. At least if I remember right, it comes out. Nope, it does not. I thought it did. But so he's got a knife in a sheath that doesn't come out. Yeah, I remember it coming out. So maybe it's just in there really good. I'm not going to mess around with it and break the plastic off. And it's just, it's not that I'm afraid to break it, it's that I don't want to break it anymore, And this crossbow does come apart. And so all the arrows they put on the crossbow, they thought they were so clever. And it works. And he's got a pistol and a holster here that comes out and goes right back in. Now, originally, get these accessories off, so I'm gonna drop them anyway. Originally, now he had a pistol sculpted on, and so that was a nice update. And his scarf, if you pop the head off, the scarf does come off. And supposedly, he was given the pink scarf by his sister, who loves pink. That's her favorite color, and she even dyes her hair pink. Now, in a lot of the AI generated images, for some reason, they will show Zandar with pink hair as well. But clearly, the original figure had orange hair, and so does the update, 4-inch. Now, when they brought Zartan out as a Ninja figure in 1991, 92, around in that era, maybe even 93, he had an orange mohawk. So it's like maybe the two brothers both have orange hair. But that's going to bring us to the classified figure. And we'll start with the unnecessary bits, with these symbols that mean stuff about their specialties and whatnot. And he is number 146 in the series. And there's the front of the box. It says Zandar, Cobra Zandar. And then there's little details they decided to highlight. His dreadnought tat and his skull. Looks like a box. fox skull on his shoulder, which I think is really cool. And then you got the side art on the side of the box. That's really cool. Now, I am disappointed that they don't put that artwork on the front. It's like the retro figures back there. It's like, you know, they should learn. If I can point to the right direction there we go. Up here on the wall, I've got a lot of the retro figures up there. And that artwork on the front is just awesome. It sells the figure. So these black boxes, you know, with the artwork on the side, if they put it on the shelf sideways, maybe it'll sell, but then you can't see the figure. Which is why they went back to the window packaging instead of the windowless packaging that was just all pictures and stuff on the front. Now, I thought it would be cool to pair up all my Dreadnoks with a motorcycle, and this, I mean, these are by the company there. If you want to, I'm not going to say the name, but you can figure it out. Maybe, I don't know. It starts with an M. Maestro, I think. Maybe I wasn't going to say it, but I think that's what it is. Anyway, the steering wheel actually turns the handlebars actually turn the steering, and this is a badass little bike. At least I thought so, and I thought it fit the Zandar figure pretty well because they're bikers, they're Dreadnoks, they need motorcycles. And the sad part was Hasbro never brought out real bikes for Dreadnoks. I mean, they brought out Ram cycles that were different color and that were supposed to be Dreadnok tack cycles that were Sears exclusives. And they brought out a Dreadnok trike, and then in 2010, 2011, the same area this guy came out. They brought out a figure called Storm Rider that came on a 3-wheeled motorcycle that is just badass. It's called the Doom Cycle. And if they bring out a classified version of Storm Rider, I will. Hopefully they'll have him come with his bike. The Doom Cycle is awesome. So anyway, so I got my Dreadnok on my motorcycle, and back there on my mantle, I've got all my Dreadnoks except for Zartan up there on the motorcycle. I've just got the 7 I'm using in my movie right now, but I do have all my Dreadnok figures in this bag here. All my modern ones in here, and all my vintage ones in here. So yeah, see, even there's Zanzibar right there. So yeah, I have all the original Dreadnoks, and all the Dreadnoks came out again, including that Storm Rider figure I mentioned, and the modern line. So they still have yet to bring out. Bloodright is coming out, so they'll have him. But who they won't have is Zanzibar and Thrasher, who came with the Thunder Machine. Now, if they brought out a Thunder Machine, that would be awesome. I hope they don't go and do HasLab like they did with the Snowcat. I think that was a mistake. I think the Snowcat should have been $150, maybe $200 tops, not $300 and some odd dollars with tiers. Who cares? I wouldn't mind having a Snowcat, and they did an excellent job with it, but the price for me is what took me out of it. Now, I matched. What's funny is my kid Ben had a motorcycle that they offered for me to use in the 6-inch scale for my movie, and these motorcycles match up pretty well, so I just said it was Zandar's bike. So that's pretty cool. So that being the case, and I will show you the classified Zandar figure now. Now, I think this update is incredible. I mean, you got all the classic elements. You got the headband. I mean, which, you know, they did a headband on here, but they went a little too far with it, and that's a do-rag. It's not a headband anymore, and so, you know. But they do have the nice pink scarf, and they kept true to the hair. It's actually a little darker red, or reddish orange, more than it is orange. But they held true with the gun, and they went a little paint app with the arrow on the end there. And they put sort of arrows on the backpack. They changed the backpack up. I do like the little handle that they have for it so you can carry it around, but it's an okay update. I mean, it has the checkered pattern on there, but instead of having arrows, it just has it looks like it has the ability to make arrows or just pop them into the gun and fire them like that, which would be okay. And swap out the arrowheads, which is interesting. Now, I'm going to take this off so we can look at some of the accessories on this bad boy. Now, on the back, he's got a standard knife, which is pretty cool. And so then he's got his holstered pistol that has a nice piece of plastic that snaps in and holds the pistol in place, just like you would think that a holstered pistol would, if I can get it out of here. Not that direction, apparently. And I've got it in there really good, so I'm gonna have to pop it from the bottom and take it out here. If I can, it don't want to come out. So like the knife, no, I know I can get this out here. You gotta push it from the bottom. With these, the classified plastic, it's a little softer and a little easier to work with. And standard sidearm. So he's got a sidearm and a combat knife. You know how I am. Sidearm combat knife. That's a soldier. Every soldier should have one. I do like the update on the gun, like I said, with the sight and the scope. And then instead of having a knife on his leg, they had him come with this badass blade. So he's got a new signature weapon, which I find to be really, really cool. So I was happy to include him in my new G.I. Joe Lady Bloodright movie and give him a scene that was kind of dedicated to him. Now, I don't really dedicate any of my scenes to any one individual character. G.I. Joe, it's an ensemble cast, and so I like to keep it that way myself. And so when you watch my Lady Bloodright scene tonight, you'll see what I mean. He has a big part in it, but yet he doesn't. I think he has like 1 or 2 lines in the entire video. That's because Zandar doesn't speak much. He never did. That is a neat weapon. Thanks. I think so too. I love. It's almost like an axe, sword, knife. You know what is it? I mean, it's really cool, and it looks good. And he's in the movie. It was used in the preamble. He threatened Major Blood with it. But so yeah, when like I said, I'm gonna have some announcements about my G.I. Joe Lady Bloodright movie coming up in 2 weeks on Overwatch. So look for that. But I will have a clip next week in Joe Takes and in the following right before Overwatch in the Iron Grenadiers episode, and Grenadiers, or however you want to say it. And next week is Airborne. So that's what's coming up on Joe Takes. Now, this takes us to the character of Zandar. Well, let's learn about Zandar by playing his file card video, and then we'll talk about it afterwards. So here is codename Zandar.
G.I. Joe is the code name for America's daring, highly trained special mission force. Its purpose, to defend human freedom against Cobra, a ruthless terrorist organization determined to rule the world. Zandar!
Zandar, dreadnought.
can remember what his voice sounds like. His anonymity was no accident. He worked at it all through his 40 years, and after he grew up, he got even better at it.
He got even better at it. Yeah. So, and yeah, supposedly the running joke in Larry Hama's comic verse and mine is that everybody forgets Zandar's even there. In fact, when he first appeared, Buzzer tried to sit on him in a chair in the comics, and he's all, Zandar. So I throw that joke in the last episode when they first appeared, when Zandar jumped into the storyline again. Now, as promised, like I said, I have him on the bike, the little bike here, for the 4-inch. Let me get some tunes going, and then I put him on the big bike. And so there's your Dreadnought riding a big motorcycle. Now, I would love to get a bunch of these 6-inch bikes. It took me a while to collect I've got like 15 bikes for the modern line, or the 3 3/4 inch. They both fit on there. Although the vintage ones, you want to be careful with their hands so you don't break their thumbs or anything. Like my Zorana, I don't even put the handlebars on her hands. I use the grips, and I have her grab the grips. The brake grip, a little extra piece there. Now, these Maestro bikes are put together really well, and I love the Harleys and all the really cool different bikes they had. Now, it was cool to give them military-style bikes in the G.I. Joe line because that's what they had. But they should have put out a standard Dreadnought motorcycle so that you could collect and interchange and had different pieces, so you could customize it to each individual Dreadnought. That would have been really cool, really simple for them to do, but they never did. Not for the modern line, not for the vintage line. So, as far as Zandar is concerned, in the Marvel Comics, he appeared in G.I. Joe 51. There's no examples of him being on a cover, so I don't have any out for you to see. G.I. Joe 51 featured the Thunder Machine, and I'm kind of saving that if we ever do a Thunder Machine episode, if they ever put that out in the classified line, because I love the Thunder Machine. I thought it was an incredible vehicle. And, Zandar, Zorana, Thrasher, and the Thunder Machine, and Monkey Wrench all came out in 1986. It was a big year for Dreadnoughts, but the previous year, 1905, you had the 3 original Dreadnoughts, Torch, Ripper, and Buzzer, and Zartan, who was already out at the time. So now, so you had 8 Dreadnoughts altogether. And then they started bringing out one a year. In 87, they brought out Zanzibar with the Dreadnought Skiff, which was kind of stupid. He was a Dreadnought pirate, but it was interesting, and it came with some cool weapons. And then 1988, they brought out Road Pig, who's one of the coolest Dreadnoughts there is. And 89, they came out with Nagahide, and that was kind of it for the Dreadnoughts. They had that other vintage Zartan, which with the mohawk and everything is kind of crazy, but they kind of just gave up on the Dreadnoughts in the 90s, and that's kind of sad because they could have come out with some really cool bikes and stuff, but they didn't. And then later on, they brought them back out in the 2000s, and then the modern 25th anniversary line, they brought them all back out. Zorana is the only one in the modern line that I don't have. It's because they only had convention exclusives for her, or collector's club exclusive. I don't remember which. I know they had one. They had at least one convention exclusive, and one was in her standard look, and the other was in the pink. Now, but instead of bringing her out in the 7-pack of the Dreadnoughts, they brought out Zartan's daughter Zanya, which is kind of cool because then you get an extra character. Then you get all the other ones in there too, so that weren't out yet. Monkey Wrench was in there. Burnout, who came out in the 2000s, pretty cool. Dreadnought. Let's see, Nagahide was in there, and then they gave him different names too. It was kind of weird. Thrasher was in there, but they called him Thunder. I was like, oh, well, he came with the Thunder Machine, so let's call him Thunder. But Zandar, lesser known figure, he was in there too, which I was happy about. They didn't have Zorana in there or Zandar or Zartan. So Zandar was the only Zandar and Zanya was the Z family members in that. I think the set should have had Zorana, and Zanya should have been the one that was a convention exclusive. But that's just me. Zorana was the more popular figure, but they didn't bring Zorana out in the modern line other than that. in the 25th anniversary style form. Now, for the classified, naturally they have Zorana, and I've been using her in my movie, and I've been having some fun with that. And Zandar, the two of them look great together in the classified series. I've got a video that I'm going to play at the end of the video on Joe Takes 68 that shows close up of everything. You'll be able to see the figure better. And I have Zartan and Zorana in that with him to have the siblings all together in that. So it's pretty cool. As far as the character though, comic book wise, excuse me, Larry Hama just kind of forgot about him as the joke's sake. I mean, he was here and there. He was part of the Cobra Civil War, but he was definitely a background character every time. But that was what he was supposed to be. He was here. He was there. He was never ever present. He was not a main character. They did not do an episode of the Sunbow cartoon specifically about Zandar. The closest they got was Leatherneck's episode, The Rotten Egg, in which I talked about a little bit last week, where Leatherneck stole his bike, which I kind of do a joke about that in my movie too. But that's coming up. And because I have just the one that I then said they have another one, but they can't find it right now. But I might end up doing another scene with the bigger bike, and we'll see. But I have some fun with that. And for me, the character Zandar, I have a different take and a dynamic between the siblings. They're brothers. They're brothers and a sister, and that's the way they act. They're siblings. They fight. It happens. They don't hate each other, and they're bad guys, and they're kind of crazy, but they're still siblings. They're still family. They'll still do things for each other, that they wouldn't for anybody else. And that's the take I go with Zandar. Zandar loves his sister. Read into that what you will. I mean, for me, it's all sibling love. It's like I love my siblings. I have like 4 left. The younger brother passed away, but still, I have 5 siblings as far as I'm concerned. So I'm one of 6. To be one of 3 and one of them be your twin, that's a bond that you just can't ignore. And they seem to ignore that a lot. I mean, Zorana really cares about Zandar. They don't show that enough. Zartan cares about his younger siblings, but and maybe at first within the Dreadnoks, until they proved themselves, it was kind of like he had to be the leader of the Dreadnoks and have that authoritarian, I'm the leader of the Dreadnoks. But even in the cartoon, they showed that kind of camaraderie between siblings, between the 3 of them. And I don't believe that in any of the storylines they had them grow up in the same household with Zartan. Zandar and Zorana, yes, but not Zartan. Zartan was older and was gone before they were old enough to really remember. He knew them, but I think most siblings have a love-hate relationship. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, they can fight, and they can have their off days and their bad days, but they have good days too. That's just sibling rivalry. It's the nature of the beast. And so that's my take. And where I see Zandar and the hierarchy of the Dreadnoks. Dreadnoks are their own sub-faction. They really are. Now, Zorana and Zartan are kind of commanders in the Cobra organization. They can lead Dreadnought troops, but Zandar doesn't do that. Zandar's just like, I would say, if Zartan and Zandar weren't around, a lot of the other Dreadnoks would look to him as the leader de facto, because he's Zartan's younger brother and Zorana's younger brother. But other than that, he's just another Dreadnought when they're around. And that's okay, But he had to prove himself as a Dreadnought, just like Zorana did originally. Zartan can't run a biker gang and then just say, oh, these are my siblings, and they come in and they tell you what to do. No, that's not how motorcycle clubs work. You have to earn your place on that team. And Zandar and Zorana did that. In my eyes, and they did that in the comics, and in the cartoon, they just were there. They didn't know what to do with the Dreadnoks in the cartoon, but they were a biker gang. How can you do a kids show about a biker gang? I mean, you can, but I mean, how silly would that be? and they did a really good job of presenting them in the cartoon. Now, in G.I. Joe Renegades, they did a better job of showing off the Dreadnoks. It was really cool, and you'll have to watch that to see that. It was an updated version of G.I. Joe that came out in an animated series that only had one season, unfortunately, in 2010, and then they had a writer's strike or an actor strike or something in the early 2000s, and I think it was a writer's strike because that makes the most sense for an animated TV series, and it just went into production hell and never recovered, and they never did get to do the second season that they wanted to. But the first season on its own is really cool, and it introduces so many characters, and it's like a prequel series to the Sunbow series, so it works with that. It's pretty cool. Definitely worth checking out. They had some hits in the 2000s with G.I. Joe. They had the it starts with an R. G.I. Joe Retaliation, that was the movie. But they had Resolute. G.I. Joe Resolute was the name of it. It was a more adult version of G.I. Joe. I don't agree with a lot of the story in it. I'm more of a Larry Hama guy, and most people adhere to a Storm Shadow Hates Snake Eyes storyline, and that's what that went with. But it was an interesting take on G.I. Joe and a very cool storyline, so check that out. They had G.I. Joe Valor vs. Venom, which is a really cool animated movie. I don't think Zandar and Zorana was in that one, or Zartan was. And Zartan was also in Spy Troops, the movie, which was really cool. But a short animated film, like 45 minutes, but it was written by Larry Hama. So to me, that's why that was cool. I mean, it had its moments, and the animation wasn't that great because they were experimenting with it. But the Valor vs. Venom was a Paramount production, whereas Spy Troops wasn't. So once Paramount took over, they had a better production value, but they had hit and misses. I mean, I love Rise of Cobra, and I love G.I. Joe Retaliation, but they were entertainment movies. They weren't movies that could spread a franchise, and unfortunately, that's where we're at with that. And I've given my take on the Snake Eyes movie. Zandar was in Retaliation. He was Zartan's right-hand man. He was the chief of his Secret Service. And the only way you know that is when Zartan says to him in the one scene, "Thank you, Zandar." But Zorana wasn't. So they included Zandar in their G.I. Joe Retaliation movie. So it just depends on where you're coming from. G.I. Joe, to me, it's a lot of things, and Dreadnoks is out there. But I love it. They go hand in hand. You can't have the Dreadnoks without G.I. Joe, and to me, it gives an aspect to G.I. Joe that makes it so much more. And to have a character like Zandar in there that's just quiet and cool and reserved, I always thought Zandar was awesome. And the voice they gave him in the animated series, he got Optimus Prime's voice, really cool. It was really deep. And Peter Cullen, the same guy who did Optimus Prime, did Zandar's voice. It was really cool. And he always stood out to me in the cartoon, even though he was in maybe 3 episodes in the movie. He was hardly there, but he was there. And like I said, in the Rotten Egg, he kind of led the Dreadnoks in that one. And it was kind of cool. And he got his motorcycle stolen, and it was fun. But that's really how I see Zandar. He's kind of the backup Dreadnok leader, and he doesn't even have to be. I mean, he would be very happy letting Buzzer lead the Dreadnok or Torch. Torch and Buzzer have a tendency to take over the Dreadnoks when Zartan and Zorana are not around. I think Zandar would be perfectly content letting them run the show, but he'd step up and have a say. Because he's proven himself, just like the rest of the Dreadnoks, except for maybe Nagahide, which I kind of have a joke on. And then in the last, if you didn't watch Leatherneck Joe Take 67 last week, Leatherneck, the G.I. Joe Lady Bloodright clip that I had in that, but there was a joke on that. So please check that out. And once I get that all together into a movie, like I said, I've got an announcement I'm going to do on Overwatch. It's a delay. I'm still going to finish everything, and I'm having a good time doing it. It's just been a strain. So with a lot of things that's going on in my life. Now, all that being said, that's my take on Zandar. So I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, I do have, I've got that on Joe Takes that I'll play at the last. That details the character. I film him up close, so you'll be able to see better details of his those fox skulls on his shoulders and the chain and the knife. Like I said, I show off all of that. I showcase the entire figure, and then I have Zartan and Zarana in that with him because I had that siblings together. I thought it would be really cool once I finally got Zandar to do the three of them together. So I did that, and that, like I said, that's my take on Zandar, and I'm going to play the clip for G.I. Joe Lady Bloodright, and I hope you enjoy. This is Act 3, the first scene in Act 3, Scene 8. So I've got 9 and the 9 and 10 are the next two acts in next two scenes in Act 3, and then I go into my finale, which it may take. I want to take my time with it and really make this movie work. But so I've got some filming to do. But I've got the last two scenes to do. And Jess Laws, who's in the chat, she normally does the voices of Rona. I had to do AI voices for her because she's taken her time to get the perfect voice for me, and I appreciate that. So it's AI generated in this, so it sounds a little bit more like the cartoon. But Jess and I both agree that the cartoon voice doesn't really fit Zarana very well. But I went with that so that it was to set it apart from Jess Laws's voice acting. So I hope you enjoy this with the AI. And but there's a lot more. There's a lot of voice actors in this one. I do several voices. Mama Sins does a voice in this one, and Red Power Ranger Fan 27 does too. So including Zandar himself. So check this out as I present to you G.I. Joe Lady Bloodright, Act 3, Scene 8. I'll come back on and talk a bit afterwards.
Starduster to Victor Bravo. Taking fire. Got clipped. I think I lost them. But I'm coming in hot.
I see you, Starduster. Oh shit, he's going down.
Ouch. Oh yeah. It's worse than I thought. Ow.
I gotcha, buddy. Try not to move. You might have internal injuries.
10-4 Stalker.
Got you guys covered. Get him into the infirmary, Stalker.
Hell of a landing, Starduster.
Those stinger blades are still coming. Tell Dial Tone there was more than 6.
With Cobra, there always are. And I'll let him know.
Is it bad, Stalker?
Let's just say you'll be laid up for a while.
Okay, Leatherneck. We've got dozens of incoming gnats with switchblades. Yeah, my count was a bit off.
Copy that. Big bugs in Nebraska.
Hey Clutch, you think those stinger blades bite?
Not if I bite him first.
Focus, Joe. Stay sharp. This is only the beginning.
Here, take a bug swatter. Much obliged, Clutch.
Get ready, they're coming!
Come on, you little tin fairies, give me something to actually fight. Oh, I'm just sick of this shit. Time to break out the big gun.
Nasty little buggers.
Oh, shucks, he ain't even half as nasty as my ex.
Let's go.
Why'd they leave?
They got a taste of me, maybe?
Looks like we may have company.
Time to start the party, boys.
Time to kill.
Dreadnoughts inside the perimeter!
We're gonna have to do this hand-to-hand, Joes. Time for some close-quarter fighting.
Nice chainsaw, buzzkill. Too bad you don't know what to use it for.
I'm gonna cut that mouth off.
I guess we can say the same thing about your head.
I smell fear, G.I. Joe. Could be last night's chili. It's making some evil magic in my gut right now. We'll see. After I cut you. Good luck with that. Yeah, definitely the chili.
Still playing Soldier Red.
Still hiding behind your brother.
Never was. You bimbo.
No accounting for taste, at least it'd be a better view.
Oh no! Stop!
You look strong. I look stronger.
Well, let's test that theory, you big sumbitch. Yep, theory tested. 4.
Not bad. Still lost though. Oh shit.
Nice.
I'm gonna cut.
It's over, Zarana. Drop the knife. I put torch and rip her down with ease.
Over. Honey. It's just starting. Zandar.
Get out of here, sister.
This isn't over, Jarhead. I'll be back for my brother.
Looking forward to it. Missy. You guys okay?
Define okay, stalker.
Alive.
Scarlet. We got a prisoner.
Just means that the rest will be back.
Looks like you got hit by a train gung-ho.
Trey's got nothing on Road Pig for sure.
Yeah, Zorana said as much.
You and Outback take him to an empty cargo bin and keep him under guard.
Understood. Aw shit. Didn't anybody see him?
She ran, I stayed, that's the play. Family don't
Alpha 5 is
need
down.
your
I repeat, Grunt is dead.
You think this is a cage? I've lived in silence far tighter than this. Your guard's got shaky fingers. He won't last the night.
Get it together, girl. You're in charge now.
And that's the scene. You guys enjoyed that. Yeah, it has a really rough ending, and a lot of those scenes were really hard for me to film. That I think is the most difficult scene so far for me to film. You like that a lot? Thanks, Jess. I appreciate it. I can't wait to hear your voice with Zorana, because I think that'll mesh better than the AI shit I put together with my sister Mama Sims's vocals, voice acting for Scarlet, which I thought was pretty cool in that. We get some change in the background here. So G.I. Joe Lady Bloodright is a passion project for me. And like I said, I've got the 3 major scenes left to film, plus a bunch of little bits I'm going to be putting together to make the scenes fit together better, because I'm not going to have all those little title cards in between or anything. It's going to flow like one big solid movie. And I'm also going to be finishing up G.I. Joe Dungeons and Disinformation, and I'll probably have that out first next month. And hopefully by the end of the month, I'll have G.I. Joe Lady Bloodright out, but it might be. I'm glad you're still here, Cool Gamer. Most likely October is what I'm looking at for a release date. And I'll have a trailer for each one that I'm going to put out on From the Hilt. And, eventually, after, it's had its time on From the Hilt, then I'll put them both over on G.I. Joe Gamer channel over here, so you guys can enjoy them over here too. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed that, and looking forward to filming the next one. I've got everything set up. I've got all my background images and things ready to go. And for the next 2 scenes, actually, I'm probably going to film them both back to back, because they're not as intensified as that scene was. And there was a lot involved in that scene, and a lot of elements that I'm probably going to fix in post, like some of the weapon effects. The sound effects worked for just the raw footage, but when I put it together into a movie, I'll probably put the actual blast effects over the video. That way there's not so many elements in that video, and then reshoot it as a video, and then put the blast effects and stuff over them. No, don't worry about it, Jess. I'd rather have the best lines you can give me than have it rushed. We're really going to try to get them all finished for you before next week. Cool. Even the scenes have to be filmed. Sorry, you don't suck, Jess. I wasn't even teasing you today. You're harder on yourself than I am. So I appreciate all that you've already done. And Viper has some voices for next time too. So and next two, actually, Viper's all throughout the rest of it. Her and Jinx, yeah. Everything converges in the next scene and goes from there in the next 2 scenes. Cool Gamer's like, I'm still here. Well, yeah, we know you're here, buddy. But no worries, Jess. We'll get it done, and that's why I want to take my time and make it look like a really. I'm going to try to polish it off a bit. A lot of it, there's not much I can do. Like some of the scenes with the green screen gloves that cover part of the figures. In some instances, I might be able to work the film a little bit to make it look a little better. But for the most part, what you saw here is what you're gonna get. Like I said, that's a really hard scene for me to film, and I'm being too nice. No, it's all right. It's all right, my friend. You know, it's like I said, it's a passion project, and I appreciate that you're helping me. I mean, none of us are getting paid for this, so it's something I love to do, and I'm enjoying it, and I'm happy that I'm having so many people who are helping me do voices and everything for it. You and Per and Mama Sins and Tiger as the Baroness. She won't be. She's only in the preamble and in the final scene, but she has a big presence in the final scene. So, Cool Game Ross, I hope you're doing great today too. Yeah, yes. I hope everybody's doing good today. But that just leaves me with my On Joe Takes, the 68, and give you a close-up view of the character Zandar, and a little teaser with Zartan and Zarana near the end. And I hope you guys enjoyed my take on Zandar and my clip for G.I. Joe Leader Bloodright. I'm going to play that on Joe Takes and then the outro. And I will see you guys next time on Joe Takes. So tomorrow night, or on From the Hilt, we got Radio From the Hilt. We're doing an anime theme, so let's have some fun with that. And then we got Fridays From the Hilt on From the Hilt. And don't forget File Card Fridays right here on the G.I. Joe Gamer channel, which we're going to have Airborne's File Cards this week because I'm coinciding them with all my Joe Takes. So there we are. Not yet. Maybe we'll make it big in Hollywood and then we'll all get monies. That would be nice, wouldn't it? That would be nice. But we'll see. You never know. Somebody might see it and go, wow, this is pretty cool. And then you got other people who might look at it and go, this is shit. But, even passion can be shit. So you will stay on longer. Music now, Flash Radio. I'm not up for it tonight, Jess, or I would. I said to you earlier on Discord, I haven't had a very good day, and this has cheered me up a lot. So thank you guys for joining me. Thank you who watches this on replay. I appreciate it. Do the like and subscribe thing. It's YouTube. We all know what we're doing over here. At least I should hope. And I hope you enjoy my G.I. Joe content on Logan, the G.I. Joe Gamer channel. On that note, here's On Joe Takes, and we'll see you next time.
You don't even see me, do you? Didn't think so, huh? They never see me. They won't even remember my name. I walked right through your war zone, stole breath from your sentries. Eyes all locked on the thunder, but not the shadow beneath it. I'm the last one to speak, 'cause I know the first words cut deepest and the sharpest like my blade. She ran, I stayed, that's the play. Family don't need your reason. You think this is a cage? I've lived in silence far tighter than this. It's got shaky fingers. He won't last the night. remembers my voice, and that's the point. Even when they know I'm coming, they forget to lock the door. I am the shadow and the wind. You'll forget I'm even here like they all do.
Logan's room full of Joe take dreams. Crimson Guard with eyes on the team. Snake Eyes silent and mean, but tough to rile. Roadblock rhymes and cooks with style. Duke as the first shirt, making with a plan. Cobra Commander schemes with his clan. Scarlet Sharp hits hard, flips fast. Destro's armor gleams from the past. Logan's G.I. Joe takes fierce and honest view. Red versus blue, it's up to you. Stay a while and listen for the consumerism. Logan's G.I. Joe's takes given with enthusiasm. Zartan shifting sneaks in disguise. Storm Shadow's blade cut through lies. Baron is cold with her deadly aim. Shipwreck laughs, wins the game. G.I. Joe. Logan's room full of Joe take dreams. Crimson Guard with eyes on the team. Snake Eyes silent and mean, but tough to rile. Roadblock rhymes and cooks with style. Duke as the first shirt, making with a plan. Cobra Commander schemes with his clan. Scarlet Sharp hits hard, flips fast. Destro's armor gleams from the past. Logan's G.I. Joe takes fierce and honest view. Red versus blue, it's up to you. Stay a while and listen for the consumerism. Logan's G.I. Joe's takes given with enthusiasm. Zartan shifting sneaks in disguise. Storm Shadow's blade cut through lies. Baron is cold with her deadly aim. Shipwreck laughs, wins the game. Doc's healing hand in the fray. Flint's shotgun clears the way. Major Blood's battle cry echoes near. General Hawk leads, we cheer. From the hilt on YouTube, tune in for a day. Joe takes to help you with your play. Let's put these characters to the test. Logan's the G.I. Joe gamer, plays it best. Joe, Cobra, let's go. Let's go. Logan's G.I. Joe takes fierce and honest view. Red versus blue, it's up to you. Stay a while and listen for the consumerism. Logan's G.I. Joe's takes given with enthusiasm. Joe, Cobra, let's go, let's go. Dreadnoks. Rolling down the road like thunder. Leather cuts, balls and guts, you'll hear the rumble. Tremble before us as we make our way. Nomads across the world, revving our engines with excess. Just enough to impress. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. floods and fire. Wherever we go, trouble will follow. Disaster in our wake, making you quake. Dreadnoughts, or you'll be seeing us soon. A band of vipers playing our tune. Always on the move, rolling down the road, nothing to prove. Buzzer cuts them clean, Ripper will tear into your spleen. Torch will burn you alive, a trio you'll not survive. The thunder machine will run you down, Thrasher will crush you with a frown. Monkey wrench will blow you apart, while Zanzibar will rob you without heart. Dreadnoughts! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh! We are Dreadnoughts, in town giving shocks. We are mean and cruel, taking everything right down to your fuel. Dreadnoughts are coming, you will be succumbing. Dreadnoughts! Led by the family Z, Zandar will do it all unseen. Zarana will make you feel like a clown. Zartan will just cut you down. An army of one road pig will see you done intense. Nogahide will track your movements. Beware the doom cycle. Storm Rider is the genuine article. Burnout will keep us in repair, while Hard Wrencher will make you despair. Not to forget Daughter Z, Zanya likes going on a killing spree. Oh yeah! We are Dreadnoughts, in town giving shocks. We are mean and cruel, taking everything right down to your fuel. Dreadnoughts are coming, you will be succumbing. Dreadnoughts. Dreadnoughts are coming, you will be succumbing, succumbing. Dreadnoughts, roar!
Layla, Layla, swamp silk and steel. Deep where the cypress roots twist like lies, she was raised on gator blood and fireflies. Folks say kin from Lafitte clan both ways. Some wore medals, she chose blade. Came up mean, came up fast, drove like a banshee, never looked back. No stars, no stripes, no kin she claimed, just a shadowed voice that whispered her name. Oh, Layla, they call her Vipra, but one voice says Layla. Silk on her hips, steel in her stride, Cobra's own ghost with a crimson night guide. No oaths to break, no truth to kneel. She's the bite in the dark, swamp silk and steel. Silk, back. They say one uncle wore on her like war paint, but she saw weakness, she learned restraint. Joined the fangs just to spite the Lafitte name, then found her fire in Cobra's flame. Layla, my blade, my shadow, strike not for glory, strike for command. Forget the blood, serve the will, become the ghost they fear to kill. Oh, Layla, they call her Vipra, but lady calls her Layla. chill until you're swallowed whole by swamp, silk, and steel. Layla, Vipra, swamp, silk, and steel.
This one's for every grunt who earned it the hard way. Hear that hum? That's the sound of a fight coming, and I ain't running. Born in the dirt with a chip on my shoulder, mud on my boots and my soul running colder. From Lejeune to the swamps of Paris Isle, I've been breaking bones with the drill sergeant smile. Hard to kill, easy to piss off. Call me rough, call me raw, just shrug it off. I don't flinch, I don't beg, and I sure don't bluff. Hard to kill, easy to piss off. Don't need a weapon, I am the fight. Taking names and barking orders all night. Grape soda creeps rolling into my town. I'll stomp their bikes and burn it all down. Barovia burned and we left men behind. Outback said, "Gave the word." I called it a lie, he pulled a blade. I damn near drew mine. Flint stepped in before the blood could fly. Never said sorry, that ain't my style. I kept him close through every mile. Now he's in my squad, best I got in the brush. Even lone wolves march when it's time to crush. I don't care about rank, don't care about polish. I chew a cobra's ear off, call it marine knowledge. Push-ups for breakfast, pain for dessert. You think you're bad, try bleeding in the dirt. Hard to kill, easy to piss off. Tell your queen, tell your dreadnoughts, back the hell off. Got a steel spine, don't need no gloss. Hard to kill, and damn sure pissed off. Drop and give me 50. March until you bleed. Stand your post till the morning comes, or knock out all your teeth. This fort don't fall, and I ain't gonna cross. Ain't no retreat, and I sure ain't soft. Hard to kill, and always pissed off. This is G.I. Joe, and I'm your worst damn day. Semper Fi, it is my way.
You don't even see me, do you? Didn't think so, huh? They never see me. They won't even remember my name. I walked right through your war zone, stole breath from your centuries. Eyes all locked on the thunder, but not the shadow beneath it. I'm the last one to speak, 'cause I know the first words cut deepest and the sharpest like my blade. She ran, I that's the play. Family don't need your reason. You think this is a cage? I've lived in silence far tighter than this. Your guard's got shaky fingers. He won't last the night. My voice, and that's the point. Even when they know I'm coming, they forget to lock the door. I am the shadow and the wind. You'll forget I'm even here like they all do. I always have a clean slate until it's too damn late. I'll button this lip till the hinge breaks, and when it does, one way or the other, like smoke, I'll just fade away. I don't speak too loud, don't stand too tall, but I hear the thunder before it calls. They taught me justice behind a desk. I found it better wearing a Kevlar vest. They say my eyes go somewhere else, like I'm reading through your skin. It ain't magic, it's just knowing from a clear blue sky. Been 2 years with this crew of mine, each one scarred but standing fine. Cover girl don't smile like she used to do, but she still when the metal sings true. Ricky Kondo keeps his words like knives, sharp and few, but he'll save your life. And then Roadblock, he's the ground beneath, cooks our food and carries grief. Alpha Llama's just a patch of dirt, see under, tummy humming, engines alert. Gun mounts posted, jump jets prime, we ain't moved in days, but it's feeling like time. Hawk said hold it, so here we stay. Dust in our teeth, ghost in the fray. We ain't green, we're set to bleed. 4 good Joes, all we need. We see the flashes down below. Ford for now can't take much more, but silence holds, the order's tight. No shots, no calls, not yet, not tonight. We are the way out the door behind. One shot fired and they'll find the line. So we hover still behind the clouds, steel in hand screaming, not yet out loud. I'm the ghost in the road to wash, fire in the spin. The convoy's cracking when the fight begins. No flag, no prayers, just dust and lead. I hold the line where angels and then you know who carried on.